Hey guys, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing great. Hope everyone is having a great day. So I woke up earlier and like everyone else, I don't know if anyone else really does this, but one of the first things that I do when I wake up is I check all the prices of the coins just to kind of, be up to date with things, and everything was completely in the red. So I'm like, it's just another one of those days. And then I sat there and I was like, why are the prices down? It doesn't make any sense. So I started looking around, and apparently, I don't know if this wave of news got to people late, but the prices started going down because of the ICO thefts that happened, and that for some reason shook the markets. Like I said, when one tree gets shaken, they all crumble for some reason, and I don't understand why. Nothing else has happened with Bitcoin, especially in the entire SegWit 2x department. There's been no dramatically bad news anywhere about anything. Like, everyone is pretty optimistic that we are not going to have this great divide between the network, that everything will kind of, work out smoothly. But for some reason, that entire thing kind of messed up. But even just checking it a couple minutes ago, the entire market seems to be relatively back up again. I think Bitcoin was up around 7 to 10%. It was kind of fluctuating back and forth. I think Ethereum was the only thing that was still in the red, and maybe Ripple as well. But yeah, this is where we are. So like I said, tomorrow is the pretty much the day. I think that like I said, there's been no new news. There's been no new news as far as the entire SegWit 2x thing, which means that everything, people have, signaled for it. Everything seems to be pretty good. So tomorrow is the day when everything should be locked in, and then we can all hopefully put on our party hats and celebrate as the prices go insane, because there will be no split. That would be great. On the ICO news, Russia is, amongst many other countries, getting ready to start regulating ICOs, because if you haven't noticed, things have been kind of crazy. There's also a bill that's also close to being finalized that will legalize Bitcoin and Ethereum in the country, which I think is interesting, because for a long time, Russia had a really crazy stance against digital currencies. They would not talk about them. They didn't want to have anything to do with them. And then I think they kind of, warmed up to Bitcoin a bit. And I think that Vitalik Buterin is Russian. Kind of correct me if I'm wrong, but I know he speaks Russian. Like, I've seen him speaking at engagements before. So, and I think he may have also met with Putin at some point. So this is why Bitcoin and Ethereum are on this list of things that will be legalized. But this is, like I said, is bound to happen everywhere eventually. Even the countries that have already banned it, when they realize that they're not making money that the other richer countries are making, they're going to kind of jump on board just like everyone else. So the entire thing with ICOs that's always discussed are the risks of it. I said this before in many other videos. Please do your own research when you're doing these ICOs. I know it sounds great in the moment. You see these things and you hear about other people, especially when EOS first came out. There was a huge hype around it. People were asking me, and I refused to even give anyone any information about it. I was like, I'm not going to tell people to put their money into this, because I knew exactly what would happen. It would come out, the price would shoot up like it did. I think it went to around $5, and like a day after, I think it crashed completely, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, on my money. And I'm like, you got to do your research. Like, there's, first of all, and this is a little known secret, and when something first comes out, especially if it's an ICO or an IPO of a company, the price will always be super hyped up for the first 3 days. Everyone feels like they're missing out on something, because they'll turn on the news, they see that the prices are going up, and they go, I need to be a part of this. They'll start dumping all their money into it. And all the early investors, the people who got there when it was just pennies, they start taking all of their money out in huge droves, because they are the people who can put millions into it. If the price of something goes from $1 to $5, like it did with EOS, and then completely drops, these people made millions of dollars, and everyone else is kind of left sitting there going, where's my money? Because everything has completely fallen apart. So risk is always a huge part of it. So many of these things have been hacked. I think since from this point now to exactly a year ago, I think 150 ICOs have come out, and so many of them have been complete scams. And like the thing I told you yesterday, where 10 million was lost because some guy put his wallet address over the thing on the website. Like, how simple is that? So I can only imagine what other crazy things have been going on, but especially when you get into the fact that these people are making millions of dollars in minutes. There was another ICO that just happened. It barely even made the news. It was one of the smaller ones as well. They made, what was it? I think it was 3 million in 3 days. So they made $1 million a day, and they were barely even known. Like you had to kind of dig deep in order to figure out this one, because only the super big ones kind of, get popular and stuff like that. So If you think that Russia is the only one who is going to start to do this, then you are completely wrong, because America is now well on its way to completely banning ICOs for American citizens. And if you are not from America, or if you have not lived in America for an extended period of time, this should come as no surprise to you. Because, I mean, it's nice that they care about, people. Like they try to make regulations on things so that things are safer for the consumers. But at the same time, it's kind of like a gigantic overreach to the point where the US thinks their arm can reach from one side of the globe to the other. And they can kind of tell every single other person in the world what to do and how to do it. They've received, not just the US, but a lot of other countries, obviously they've been receiving complaints about all the ICOs and all the money loss and all this other stuff. People losing thousands of dollars in a second. Like I told you, there was somebody yesterday, he sent 50 Ethereum to that fake address. And if you calculate to the price of Ethereum right now, the guy lost like around 10K. So you'd be pretty upset as well if that happened to you. But this is, I mean, it's just kind of one of the risks. So like I was saying, the major ICOs seem to be the ones that make it into the news. If you use Facebook, or if even you use Instagram, I've actually been seeing these ads on both platforms, which I think is kind of creepy. The fact that they know that I've been Googling these things, and now, I'm kind of getting it on my news as well. Like I saw one a couple hours ago as I'm scrolling through Instagram. Like the ads, they try to mimic the things that you like on your page already, but this one was kind of obvious because it had a horrible photo. And I think these people are still probably making $500,000 without even trying over a couple of days, especially if they get the word out. So there are a lot of ICOs that are now thinking of doing everything completely in cash or through bank transfers, which I'm sure everyone is thrilled about, because everybody wants the government to know when they're sending $50,000 to an ICO. So if this does happen, or rather when this does happen, because there's no way that governments will continue letting people make 100 million in a day, 5 million in a day, and then completely disappear. So when bank transfers become a part of it, this is when only the really probably rich people will be able to do it, because this is just my thinking of it anyway, especially because the whole entire part of the crypto sphere is kind of the anonymity aspect, and nobody wants other people to know what they're doing with their money, because it is their money and no one else's. But yeah, so more and more ICOs are now doing this, and it's gotten to the point where they're actually banning US citizens completely. They have clauses at the bottom of the websites. I think I've actually seen a couple of them. I don't enter any ICOs. I just like looking through them to see what they say that they're doing, what their white paper says, what they have to offer the world, if you will, and none of them are usually great. But yeah, at the very bottom, they usually have something that says like, we will not deal with US citizens or US taxpayers. So yeah, it has to hurt, especially if people plan on making a lot of money with these things. In other news, so there isn't we've had a few very relaxing days, and I'm kind of scared because whenever, I have a saying when I grew up, the things that we say is, if things seem too good to be true, they probably are, I'm afraid that something is going to kind of knock us off of our socks, because like I said, the markets have been pretty okay. But I'm hoping there's no bad news on the horizon. A lot of people don't know for a long time. I remember searching through the Apple Store. This was years and years and years ago, especially as like all the coins started to become more popular. I remember at one point there wasn't even a Bitcoin app, which was kind of crazy. It was like we were kind of just like searching around for a way to kind of do this, because it was all new to us. But Apple has now approved Dash on their App Store, which is pretty cool. So this includes, Dash-based apps, or pretty much just like the Dash wallet. And they said originally the reason that they banned it, or that it wasn't allowed to be on the website, is because of security reasons, and they cared about their customers. I don't know how true that is, but at the moment you now have the option of getting apps on the App Store from Ripple, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin, and Dash. And I always say this, rich people signal things to each other, and this seems like a signal that they would allow this other one. There's a reason why the other apps kind of don't have free reign on the App Store, but now Dash is somewhat available, especially with the gigantic price increase. These things open the eyes of other rich people, and they kind of take notice. So this is where we are. Nothing too dramatic today. Cross your fingers that everything works out tomorrow. I'm actually pretty confident. There was a website, they had like a poll on the side that said, do you think the blockchain will split? And it was like, people were like, no. And like actually a small fraction actually said yes. So it was nice to see people thinking that everything will go okay. So it seems we have about, 24 hours or something like that from this point to see if everything works out. Let's hope that it does, because hopefully the market will start to move where we all want it to, because I'm kind of tired of seeing people lose money. All right, guys, I hope you guys have a great day. Hope you guys enjoy wherever you are. Hope you guys are enjoying the ridiculously hot summer weather, and I'll talk to you all soon.